Today, the House gave final approval to the GOP tax bill, effectively clearing the way for Donald Trump to sign it. And we will now have, in law, the largest government redistribution of wealth in my entire lifetime, possibly going back long before I was born. The Republicans, both in the House and the Senate, are positively giddy about it. And they're not going to let a little thing like the truth of what's actually in the bill get in the way of their celebrations. You're going to see that in the videos we're going to show you shortly. We've got Paul Ryan, we've got Trump himself, we've got Ted Cruz, all just spreading a bunch of BS about what's in the bill and what's likely to happen from the bill. But before we go to that, Cenk, did you think it would happen? Yeah, clearly we thought it would happen, but it happened. So $1.5 trillion from you and me and our audience to corporations and the wealthiest people in the country.
Yeah. So a couple of things here. Number one, the media played this as they usually do, this false drama of is it gonna happen or is it not gonna happen? We told you on the Young Turks from day one, it was definitely 100% going to happen. And we'll get into why in a second. And the fundamental misunderstanding people have about politics, not you guys, but the people in power. Secondarily, a lot of the right wing were like, oh no, oh my God, it's never gonna happen. Oh my God, it's such a important thing that just might not pass because of the evil Democrats or whatever the hell they thought. In fact, a guy who's in the news today, before we did our infamous debate, Ben Shapiro and I were talking about the tax cut bill backstage, and he said, oh, it'll never pass. And I'm like, what are you? But he was adamant, and
he's anti-Trump, right?
Yeah, he's anti-Trump, but obviously very, very right wing.
Well, some of them thought that Trump because Trump is such a weirdo that him and the Republicans wouldn't be able to work together.
No, but okay, so
on tax cuts, tax cuts, they're not going to be able to work together.
Yeah. So that leads to the most important part of this story. Okay, is for all the mainstream media, the right wingers, whoever, all these other people, get it through your thick skulls. There is a small group of people in this country who rule us all. They are called the donors. The donors to the politicians make almost all of the policy. So the reason why I am so often right on the show is not because I'm really smart, really astute, and I'm sure that my critics would agree, okay, it's because it's a really simple process. It's not like, oh, what does the honorable gentleman from Tennessee, Bob Corker, is he pro-Trump, anti-Trump? Does he care about the deficit? Does he not care about the deficit? No. Follow the goddamn money, okay? It's the oldest thing in the world. So their donors all want giant tax cuts. In fact, even if they had lost Corker and Collins, which they were never ever going to lose, we said that from day one and we were 1,000% right, it wouldn't have mattered. You know why? Because Feinstein would have stepped up or Manchin would have stepped up, and a couple of Democrats would have flipped, because their donors also want the trillions of dollars in tax cuts. Dianne Feinstein voted for Bush's tax cuts. She voted to repeal the estate tax before. The only reason she didn't vote for it this time is because they had enough Republican votes. It was an absolute guarantee the donor class wanted it, and it was their #1 priority. And look, it's not a thing that they hide. The reason we know it is because it was all over the press. They told Politico, they told every paper they could. Even a Democratic donor went on MSNBC and publicly threatened the Democrats and said, you better not get in our way. And all of the Republican donors said, if they don't give us our goddamn tax cuts, then what the hell did we bribe them for? They didn't use the word bribe, but almost. They said, we're gonna withdraw all of our money from these politicians unless they give us a return on investments. This country, unfortunately, I love America, but it has become one of the most corrupt countries on earth. And the reason is, unlike all the other countries that have plenty of corruption, we legalized corruption. We legalized bribery. So this was a foregone conclusion, and anyone who didn't see that coming doesn't understand anything about American politics.
If I came to you with original reporting from TYT Investigates and we had a source that showed that the Republicans had stolen $1.5 million from regular Americans and given it to a corporation, it would be a scandal. Most people wouldn't believe us. If we said $1 billion, we would be conspiracy theorists. But with $1 trillion, it's totally fine. It's a win for them, a win for the GOP.
It's not $1.5 trillion. It's $1.5 trillion that they couldn't cover. The rest of it is in tax increases to the middle class and is in massive cuts that they're gonna make to spending. And then
and also after 10 years, it's going to be even far worse. Not just the debt servicing, but the growth is not going to match what the fairy tale idea that the Republicans gave you with what the growth would be like.
And you're still going to have a $1.5 trillion deficit on top of that.
Yeah.
From now on, any reporter that earnestly reports that the Republicans care about deficits should be immediately fired. Because it's just not true. They're purposely stating Republican propaganda that has been proven incorrect right now without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, and how many times do we need to go through this? Like I wasn't a conscious political person under Reagan, but Reagan came in, they had massive tax cuts. George W. Bush comes in, they have massive tax cuts. Trump comes in, they have massive tax cuts. We don't need to speculate about what they're going to do. And if you think for a second that they're going to be satisfied with 21% for the corporate tax or 37% for the top marginal tax rate, that's what they were able to get now. And when I tweeted about it, I got many Republicans whose only response, their only thought about this wasn't even happiness. It wasn't even glee. It was taxation is theft.
Yeah.
They're not done, okay? If they remain in power, there will be more of this.
80% of the cuts went to the top 1%. It is not a mystery as to who our corrupt politicians serve. They serve the top 1% because they're financed by the top 1%. It's not remotely complicated. And anyone who thinks that it is just doesn't belong in media that covers politics because they don't understand politics at all. They should go get another job. If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
So do it right now, tytnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.